It is no secret that Elden Ring is always going to be one of the few games that people will just look at it and it will be actually just considered as a masterpiece. It's one of those games where we can actually just look at Elden Ring after years and years. We can just look at that. That is the prime example to be almost perfect game. I would, in my eyes, is a perfect game for myself. It is a $50 game that I would just really just pump hours and hours every single day playing the game. And I'm a glazer myself. I love glazing Elden Ring. If you just don't know, I love Elden Ring to this very day, man. It is one of the few perfect open world dark fantasy game that I just enjoy, and especially it's from Software. They make bangers of the bangers, yeah, and Elden Ring is one of those 10 out of 10 games that comes together with another 10 out of 10 DLC. Shadow of the Earth Tree, that is a really another banger $30 DLC. And I would say that DLC kind of hot take. That DLC kind of deserved its own Game of the Year nomination, despite being a DLC, because it felt like a new game. Okay, it felt like a whole entire new game in a package. But I know for sure people will not like that. But it's not the whole entire point. Okay, unfortunately, even despite having masterpieces, I would say like there are flaws for the game. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be more targeting talking about the Elder and Shadow of the Earth Tree, because I think we all can agree the most disappointing part about the Shadow of the Earth Tree is the ending, especially Mikola, because Mikola, if you guys don't know, is a character that was actually being brought up and being a haunting character in the first game. It was definitely a female story in the darkest way possible in Elden Ring base game. Okay, he was one of the best manipulator of all time. He is so freaking handsome. People would actually be so seduced very fast, with his own words. He is actually the incarnation of Griffith. If you look at of the whole entire lore in the base game, it's kind of crazy of how the game actually works very well in Berserk. It is very scary. Okay, Griffith is Mikola without a doubt. But when the Shadow of the Earth Tree came out, there was a lot of hype with this whole entire DLC, because there was a bunch of theories from the YouTubers and content creators talking about like how their lore is gonna get crazy with the existence of Mikola. Mikola is going to be like, reviving this pinnacle character so that he can become God, or like some character even actually think about he might actually defy God. He might be a good guy this whole entire time, because he's actually leading the main character, Earth, Tarnish, doing all of this deed of like defeating one bosses to another so that we can actually kill the real boss or something like that. It was kind of weird, but we also have the theories that he might be the final boss. Well, surprise, surprise! Spoiler alert for anybody of you who didn't actually play Shadow of the Earth Tree. He is actually the final boss, but unfortunately, it wasn't going the way that most of us expected to be. He's not technically the final boss. It's actually Radon coming back to the DLC as the final boss. And because of that, it actually destroyed the whole entire theories of any content creator who actually trying to put theories or like any puzzles to be fixed into a whole entire bigger picture. Because like with Verdane picture, what about Godwin? Godwin is just there dying because there was theories going around saying that he was supposed to be revived or something. Maybe there could be a plan for Mikola, But that's the whole entire thing. It was disappointing that like some of us never really even got a chance to talk about the whole entire ending. Mikola never even brought up even once. We don't even know what the fuck is going on with Mikola. It's because like instead of like us trying to instead of like the theory going around saying that like in based on the lore that maybe Mikola is trying to revive his own dead brother Godwin, who got killed by the blade of death, and trying to revive him back because like he actually cares for Godwin, and he thinks that Godwin it will be the best candidate to actually become the next America, or maybe him being the next America, and he needed a shadow to actually like be able to become a god. It makes more sense if you look at the videos and the lore, but like for having Radon, leans into incest or something that like maybe he needs Radon brute force for the whole entire thing because he was actually being praised as like the pinnacle of demigod. He was the biggest, meanest, baddest character in Elden Ring if you look at the lore. But like it doesn't still doesn't make sense because we killed him in the base game. And like Godwin is just standing around like a hanger, I mean, by somewhere, being literally his soul being between death and alive, which is technically non-existent. Actually, he's like technically dead. But that's the thing. And I'm bringing this one up because there's a content creator called Lance McDonald. He actually restored some of the cutscenes for Elder Ring. There was a cut content actually that was looking like there was supposed to be a like almost finished cutscene with Mikola, but somehow it was ditched or like cut off at the last second because this quality is actually really interesting. But I will show you the arena first because yes, there is an after arena after killing Melania in the Helic Tree that was supposed to show off the little bit of story what Helic Tree used to be. So I'll show you some of this clip actually from his videos.
The Tarnished's encounter with Millennia takes place within an enclosed arena from which the roots of the colossal Helig tree emerge, demonstrating this location as the origin of its growth. By taking a look at some older data, we find an unused map file consisting only of this same arena, here seen in a vastly different state.
Now, this video show off a little bit more interesting story because there is a sapling that was put up by Mikola that actually, if you look closely, there is blood around this sapling. This blood is actually kind of related to another COD content that was actually being shown before the DLC came out. And I don't know if that actually has any ties to it or not, but like there is like connection with the blood on the item where like you might get it from Mikola. Now, now that is actually more interesting because like I was thinking that maybe From Software decided to actually wanted to go for a different route for the DLC, but decided not to actually go with that route and just cut it off for the whole entire thing. And like it felt like there's a lot more to it. It felt there was a lot more to it to a whole entire Mikola story. I just can't help it. And now there is a cutscene being restored by Lance McDonald, and I think you guys should watch it right now.
Young seedling, young seedling, grow larger, stronger. My dear twin, accept this gift, a gift of abundance, my last drop of dew. Let all things flourish, whether graceful or malign. If thou covetest the throne, impress my vision upon thine heart. In the new world of thy making, all things will flourish, whether graceful or malign.
For any lore experts out there, if you're willing to spend your time, please tell me what do you think of the cutscene, like especially with the tween part. Even though it's like related to the with the tree, maybe it's a gift from him to Melania. But I wanted to know what you guys' opinion is because this whole entire cutscene is adding a lot more layers to the story. Personally, it's kind of crazy how this cutscene has like voice lines done, even though the voice line is not very sync together with the whole entire cutscene. But it's just again, it's still baffling how like it looks like it's almost a finished product, but it never really goes off. Never really got a chance to be released in the final product. What's even more crazier, if you look at it like the first trailer of the DLC, there was one scene of like the end of the trailer that was actually not even being showcased at all in the game. It was Mikla himself. We didn't have that cutscene if you actually look properly. I just think there was a lot more story for this Mikla, and it baffles me that we never really have got a chance to talk about Mikla at all because the ending of the Shadow of the Earth Tree in the final version was flat. It was fall flat. Sure, it ends up with the one of the best or also hardest bosses of all time, but like the lore wise, it actually kind of left me a little bit disappointing. I think some of you guys actually agree with this. I definitely do know for sure some of you agree with me where like this ending is probably the bullshit ending of all From Software games. It doesn't make any sense. I don't even know where this is gonna go with the whole entire puzzling now. Now I have to wait for more Vatividia videos so that I can actually try to understand more what the hell is going on with the lore. Sometimes I also sit here just thinking maybe, just maybe, the Tarnished Edition, excuse me, that's supposed to come by this year would probably give us a little bit more content about like of the idea of like what the supposed lore of Elden Ring is going to be, especially the Shadow of the Earth Tree, like some kind of a relation between the Earth Tree and also the Elden Ring base game coming together. It would have make it more sense, for me. Just make it a close final chapter for me to actually move on from Elden Ring. I just can't move on of the lore being so weird and just doesn't make any sense. And or maybe there's a small, tiny bit of a possibility that maybe some of us never really got a chance to discover some part of the game or the DLC after its release. Okay, maybe we just never really got a chance to see it. Maybe it was just a small little chance. Some of us miss out some small little content of the story. I just can't help it. I'm just coping really, really hard because I just need more lore about Godwin, Mikola, Radon, like some of these demigods being how they're just the way they are, especially Mikola, that is so, like being one of the most hyped up character of all time in the base game. Just for him to be full flat and just be meme as like a lover who just love his own brother, and that's like the Game of Thrones reference at that point, actually. Oh yeah, by the way, one last thing. Please do check out Lance McDonald, his YouTube channel right away. He actually makes so much of like restoration of like the COD content, giving out like the history of development of making like some of the From Software games, especially like some of the biggest ones like Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Dark Souls is one of them as well. It's really interesting to go into his actual content, and like it really is one of the few things that I just really respect about Lance McDonald because he cares about some of the From Software games. He does actually wanted to see how development goes in the developer's perspective, now being put into the perspective of a viewer. But yeah, please do give him actually a visit, check him out. Like, please do, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to yap about this. I do hope all of you have a wonderful day, have a wonderful night. Sayonara, suckers. Peace out.